Live from Arkansas's breaking news leader, Fox 16 News at 9 starts now.
Fear and like adrenaline, and like I thought that like I could die.
A 15-year-old girl fears for her life after robbers break into her home, not knowing she was inside. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Donna Terrell. Fox 16's Ken Bufa is back from the home with how this could have been avoided had the security system been installed properly. Ken.
Montina Bell installed an ADT alarm system to keep her two young daughters and her things safe. But she discovered firsthand how when the system is not installed right, the worst can happen.
I was screaming. I was like so scared.
Afraid, panicked, and in the dark. That's how 15-year-old Kennedy Valley describes the horrifying robbery at her South Tyler home in Little Rock.
I mean, I thought they were gonna do something like hurt me or try to grab me.
Thursday night, Montina Bell and her daughter came home to a dark house. With no visible signs of problems with their power, Bell went to her boyfriend's house down the road to get help. That's when Valley says two men kicked in the back door.
And then I heard like get the TV and get this or something.
The robbers grabbed the bedroom TV and then realized they were not alone.
One of them said some things. It sounded pretty threatening.
What did he say?
He like said, "B, if you don't move."
Terrified, Valley ran out of her house, the robbers right behind her.
Fear and like adrenaline. Like I thought that like I could die.
The robbers ran away. Bell says she was just gone 3 minutes, plenty of time for her ADT alarm to contact police.
ADT tested it and it wasn't working.
Turns out the robbers shut off the circuit breakers. In the bathroom, her 11-year-old daughter heard the whole ordeal.
Was on the phone. She said, "Ma, somebody." I mean, she just couldn't breathe. She was having a panic attack.
Little Rock police are investigating. Bell says she had no idea 3 minutes could have been enough time for this horror to unfold.
Like a nightmare, like a scene from a scary movie or a thriller, because my girls were home alone in the dark with robbers.
Montina says she just moved to the neighborhood. This is her first month in Little Rock.
Oh, my goodness. Welcome to Little Rock, my
Terrible.
word. You know, two things here. I've always been told that you should put a lock on the circuit breaker box that's outside because that can prevent that sort of thing from happening. But just to be clear,
Yes.
they cut the power, but that should not have affect the security system.
No.
The security system should always work even if the power is out, right?
Absolutely, and there's a backup battery on the ADT, but according to her, when she called ADT customer service, they checked the box and they said, no, it was installed wrong, it's not going to be doing that. So
Okay.
had it been installed right, all the alarms and everything should have
Would've gone
worked,
off,
but
yeah.
it didn't.
Okay, I'm glad she's okay though.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you. A Little Rock cab company standing by an employee who drove an 11-year-old girl halfway to Florida before being stopped by police. The owner of Yellow Cab's Little Rock franchise admits his employee could have used better judgment, taking everything into account, but he says the girl passed what basically amounts to an eyeball test when the driver looks to see if the passenger appears to be at least 16 years old. But some are still questioning the cab company.
Cab driver taking anybody on long distance, especially an underage kid, needs to question that.
There ought to be a law that they have to show ID if they get in a taxi cab.
Well, today the driver personally returned a check for $1,300 to the family, who tells us the driver was very apologetic. Little Rock police say they are not investigating the case because the driver didn't have any intention of committing a crime. Hackers take over the Little Rock School District website. The cyber attack now worrying parents if their child's information has been compromised. Fox 16's Suzanne Bruner tells us what happened.
If you typed in lrsd.org in the search engine around 7 a.m. Friday morning, chances are this hacking message popped up.
I don't like it. It doesn't make me comfortable.
Uncomfortable with the images and words displayed on the home screen and the possible threat it could have on his two boys.
I think they should notify everybody when there's what could potentially be a terroristic threat. and that's what that is to me.
The video playing on the site read hacked by Mecca, the Middle East cyber army. According to its Facebook and Twitter pages, it appears to be a Muslim group dedicated to cyber attacks around the world.
It's a little shocking to be informed of it.
Another parent I spoke with hadn't seen it, but learned about the hack through an automated call from the school district around noon.
It basically said that there had been a cyber attack against the district's landing page on their website.
Shortly after, that message relayed via email to parents and staff saying no student, parent, or personnel data was compromised. That information is housed on separate servers. When we discovered the unauthorized information on the landing page, it was immediately removed.
I think it's very unfortunate that people take advantage of schools and businesses and hack their sites and put inappropriate materials up there.
In an email, the school district says it's investigating this incident and will provide additional details when they become available. In Little Rock, I'm Suzanne Bruner.
Well, we did talk with the FBI and Arkansas Department of Emergency Management. Both agencies were unaware the school district's website had been hacked.
Now, weather to plan your day with Fox 16 Chief Meteorologist Jeff Baskin.
Well, certainly not as cold tonight as it has been the last few nights. Temperatures staying in the mid to upper 40s. We have some warmer air coming up out of the south. And ahead of that warmer air, we actually have some fog developing. This is our live weather bug camera view, and we're looking back towards downtown Little Rock. You can see the bright lights around War Memorial Stadium. They're actually reflecting off the low clouds here, and these clouds have actually been lowering a little bit, the visibility going down. You can't see the buildings downtown anymore. So the visibility slowly coming down across central Arkansas. Right now, not too bad. Visibility still 7 miles around Little Rock, but you get to Hot Springs down to 3 miles. Then you get into some real fog around Arkadelphia. Visibility down to about half mile right now, less than 1 mile visibility around Mena. So this fog is going to thicken up a little bit as we go through the overnight and into your early Saturday morning. So if you do run into some of that fog, just try to slow down a little bit. And remember, use your low beams, not your high beams. As we take a look at temperatures, still in the 40s. The warmer air still over Texas to our southwest. Temperatures in the 40s right now across much of central Arkansas. And it really won't get much cooler during the overnight hours. Mostly cloudy skies. The only showers confined to parts of southwest Arkansas down around the Texarkana area. And as we go through the overnight, that's where we have the highest threat of a few lingering showers through the overnight hours into early Saturday morning. Notice not a whole lot of rain coverage. The main concern for tomorrow would be some areas of fog. As we go into the afternoon, still a bit cloudy, but then some breaks of sunshine, especially south Little Rock area, as some of that warmer air starts to move on in. So here's a look at your hour-by-hour forecast as you start off your Saturday. If you're going to be up early, 6 a.m., some fog, 47 degrees by about noon. Milder temperatures up into the mid-50s and even warmer on Sunday. But we're talking about the threat for a couple of periods of rain. I'll show you when in your 7-day forecast in just a few minutes.
And right here is a live look at the Senate floor. In case you're wondering what they're doing in Washington, D.C., they're continuing to talk over that $1.1 trillion spending bill that could keep the government from shutting down. You have folks opposed and people who are for it. The old politics makes strange bedfellows cliche is ringing true tonight as unlikely allies come together to support or oppose the House-approved 2015 budget. As Fox News correspondent Michael Manuel reports, Mitch McConnell and Harry Reid find themselves tonight on the same side.
We're going to consider this legislation to keep our government open and funded, and we're going to do it today, I hope. There are senators who are unhappy with this legislation, and they'll have the chance to make their objections heard.
If some senators want to run the clock, Congress passed an emergency funding extension through tomorrow night. In case it gets drawn out, the House also approved a second extension through Wednesday. But the Senate Appropriations Chair who negotiated the bipartisan bicameral deal is pushing colleagues to pass the bill quickly.
We will not have government on autopilot, and we will be able to fund our responsibilities and protect America and really prepare America for both today and the rest of the 21st century.
Senators Republican David Vitter and Democrat Elizabeth Warren, an unusual pairing, filed an amendment hoping to strip a provision that would weaken Dodd-Frank banking regulations and Warren says could lead to future bailouts. The House's impasse lifted around 9 p.m. last night when Democratic Whip Steny Hoyer publicly split with leader Nancy Pelosi and expressed his support.
I have concluded that it is better for us to pass this cromnibus, as it is euphemistically referred to, than it is to defeat it. And so I urge my members to vote for this Cromnibus.
House Speaker John Boehner was all smiles when he realized he had the votes to pass the bill 219 to 206. Although 67 Republicans voted against the measure, and a number of his conservative members were left frustrated.
Now Obamacare is funded. Now Obama's executive amnesty is funded. We wanted and insisted on a vote that would allow us to cut off all funding to implement or enforce his executive amnesty.
Yet some Republicans who backed the compromise say Boehner did his job keeping government open, and his leadership won't suffer any long-term damage.
I think it's important that House Republicans stay together. If we're divided, the person who benefits most is the president. The American people in the last election said they were unhappy with the president's policy. That's why we had sweeping victories in both the House and the Senate. And together, we can get some good things done.
The date to circle on your calendar is February 27th, when Homeland Security funding would run out. At that point, many Republicans will be expecting Speaker Boehner and Senate GOP leaders to stand up and fight funding for President Obama's executive action on immigration. On Capitol Hill, Mike Emanuel, Fox News.
On a busy day on Capitol Hill, congressional staffers stopped working, walked out, and put their hands up. This is to show support for the families of Michael Brown and Eric Garner, two black men killed by white police officers. Two grand juries decided not to indict those officers for the deaths. The decisions inspired protests around the country, and it's now reached the government. Black, Asian, and Hispanics who work for members of Congress took part in the protest and prayed for peace. After taking a group picture, it was back to work. And there are local demonstrations, too. A group of people first took part in this die-in protest at Park Plaza Mall Sunday. And now they're coming together tomorrow for a silent march to the state capitol to bring attention to police brutality. Organizers say the 1 mile march is a moment of silence for those murdered by police officers. Afterward, they will announce demands to the city of Little Rock and the state as it pertains to communities of color and law enforcement.
This march has more to do with police brutality locally and also nationally. It's time that we recognize that we have a problem with the way we police communities of color.
Well, the group's goal is to highlight local examples of police brutality and address them. After months of technical issues, one Central Arkansas city finally has its holiday cheer lighting up. Plus, teens are sent to the hospital after a school shooting. We'll have the latest on the investigation. Also, one family in Arkansas fighting for something they believe their son deserves after he was killed. How they are one step closer tonight to achieving their goal. It's coming up.
You're watching Fox 16 News at 9 with Donna Terrell, Kevin Kelly, sports with Wes Moore, and Chief Meteorologist Jeff Baskin. This is Fox 16 News at 9.